Hey, true crime lovers. Tammy here. I'm happy to announce that we have once again been nominated for another award. The 2024 Women in Podcasting Awards has us nominated for the comedy category. If you guys could go leave us a vote, I'd really appreciate it. You can find more information on our website's Go Vote section. The links are in the description and also on our website. Thank you all for voting. Now let's get back to grits with a side of murder.
Welcome, y'all.
That was lovely.
Thank you.
And you're originally from the north.
I am.
So, I mean, it must be hard. Do you say
Midwest.
y'all? Do you say y'all?
I do.
Okay, good.
My accent has just become this weird, like, cornucopia of all the places I've lived, and New Jersey sometimes for some reason. So,
y'all, this is Michelle. She's been on this
Hello.
show before.
Super happy to be back.
Can I say what you do, but not where you work?
Absolutely.
She's a massage therapist, and she's
I
amazing.
really am. Thank you.
Yes, you are. Harold is here, camera switching. Thank you, Harold.
Hello, Harold.
Okay, we're gonna. First of all, what are you drinking?
My little seltzer drink. I think it's a neutral or something. I don't know. It came in a big can.
Oh, nice. And you just poured over ice?
I did.
Nice. I'm
It's
drinking
fancy.
whiskey. Shocker.
Hardcore. I approve.
This early in the day. Anything new with you?
I get to go see my little brother get married next week. I'm super excited.
That's awesome.
Got to drive through Texas.
So
Not
when-
excited about that.
No. When this posts, you can tell him that he got a shout out.
Yes. Congratulations, Cam and Rachel.
Y'all have a fun honeymoon.
They will. They're going to Portugal.
Oh, nice.
Very
Super
cool.
awesome. All right. You ready for a story?
I am so ready.
Okay. 2012 is where we're going.
All right.
And I have a couple what was going on in 2012. And for some reason, I happened to pick all music things that were going on. You love music.
I do. Was it a good year for music?
I mean, I don't know.
Oh.
Gangman style.
So no, that's what you're saying.
That's
Not
the
at all.
That's the
Not
first
at
two
all.
words I'm saying right there. That's when Gangman style took over the world. Actually, it's kind of catchy after you listen to it.
It is. It's a horrible, horrible earworm.
Yes, it is. Also, 2012 marked the resurgence of boy bands,
Thank God.
thanks to One Direction and The Wanted. I've never even heard of The Wanted.
Not a clue on either of them, to be honest. I've heard of One Direction. I'm sure I've listened to them.
Yeah. I just never heard of The Wanted. So, I mean, one boy band doesn't seem like a resurgence to me if I've never heard of the other one. Anyway, and finally, Taylor Swift released her album titled Red, and it shot straight to the top of the charts.
Good for her.
Everything she touches
I like her.
turned to gold.
She's
Yeah, I don't have a
fun.
problem with her.
I'm not like a big fan. I don't turn off her music when it comes on, but I couldn't tell you any songs that she sings.
That's kind of how
But I
am,
like
too.
her.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Making men upset. I love it.
She is, she's fiery. That's how I'm going to say.
And dating a nice Cleveland boy.
Mm-hmm.
Just a nice young man from Cleveland.
Mm-hmm. Is he actually from
He
Cleveland?
is, yeah. Him and his brother.
Nice. Okay, we're going to go to Bay St. Louis, Mississippi. Have you heard of it?
I have.
And I'll tell you a little bit about it for those who don't know about it. It's about a 2-hour drive from where we are right at this moment.
I think that's why I've heard of it.
Have you been?
I'm sure I've driven through it.
Okay, so it's like, and Harold, didn't we go eat lunch there one day? We had to go somewhere for something, and he's like,
Is there a barbecue place there?
Well, we're close to Bay St. Louis, and Bay St. Louis it reminds me of like one of those little Gulf Coast town, like touristy, but not touristy, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
People ride around on their golf carts, a lot of little bars and restaurants you can kind of walk, around. Not super big, but the population's only like 11,000 people.
Nice.
I know that sounds like a lot, but I mean, when you're talking about a whole town, I
Yeah.
think that's a small town. So in terms of Biloxi, from Bay St. Louis to Biloxi, it's about 45 minutes.
Okay.
And Biloxi is where I'm sure most people have heard of Biloxi. It's where all the casinos are. It's like
I have been there.
it's like our southern Las Vegas, right? I mean,
Sure.
Yes.
Sure.
Without the shows, maybe?
I was thinking more like Atlantic City.
Oh, okay.
I think that's probably pretty
I
good.
think the only gambling town I've been to is Las Vegas, so I didn't really have anything else to compare it to. All right.
Not like Las Vegas.
So Bay St. Louis embraces the heritage of the Gulf Coast region and has been named one of the coolest small towns in America by Budget Travel magazine, which I don't know if I would read a magazine called Budget Travel. Anyway, one of Bay St. Louis's residents was 83-year-old Maurice Colly, Colly, not like the dog. Maurice was a church-going businessman who was a beloved member of the community. Now, we're gonna start the story, if you haven't figured it out already. Because I keep saying was. So
Just don't think it's going to end well for him.
We're going to go back to March 2012. Maurice's nephew, Wally Colly, is his name. I was like, his parents had an awesome sense of humor. So Wally Colly was concerned.
I'm sorry, continue.
He was concerned because he hadn't talked to his uncle Maurice, and he said he usually talked to him at least once a week. And if he ever left him messages, he would get back with him, within a couple days. But in this situation, he hasn't talked to him. He's left him messages. He's not calling him back. Another person who was concerned about Maurice was his friend named Charlotte. She was an older lady, just sweet.
I was so hoping for Molly. I'm sorry.
What?
Molly Colly and Wally Colly would have been great.
Well, Charlotte isn't a family member. So she will not have the Colly last name. You could call her Charlie, Carly, Colly, maybe.
Just doesn't work as well.
Doesn't. All right. So specifically on March 3rd, 2012, Charlotte went to Maurice's home to check on him. She rang the doorbell. She banged on the door. No response. She's looking around. Through a window in the garage, she sees Maurice's car, which makes her even more concerned because he never went anywhere without his car. Like, he didn't walk around town, and if he's gone, his car's gone.
He's in his 80s, you said, right? So it is a genuine
83.
concern. Like,
yeah, 83. But, they didn't give us a ton of background on him. But he seemed like he was like maybe still working and stuff, like he was pretty active. But so Charlotte was like, something's not right. I'm calling the police. The police go in to Maurice's home. Now she's still there. She waited for the police. They start looking around. There's no sign of Maurice anywhere. The police noticed something strange. Maurice had a curio cabinet with knickknacks inside. And the part that was strange was, how when you have something like that on a glass, surface, you pick that thing up and take it off and you can see the dust around, and that one little spot doesn't have any dust. Well, they saw multiple little empty spaces where the dust was around these spots. Like something had been sitting there, but it's gone. So on the kitchen counter was a fresh bowl of oatmeal and Maurice's car keys. Yeah. The officers who arrived initially called for backup. A detective arrived to help search for Maurice. The detective found blood in the garage. What were these other two guys doing? He opened the trunk of the car, and there was Maurice's body.
That's a bad day.
Yeah. He had been bound and gagged. His head was wrapped up in plastic. He had scratches and abrasions on his body. It was determined that Maurice had been in the trunk for a couple of days.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah. Now, keep in mind, Charlotte's there during all of this. And she sees him, and she gets hysterical, and,
Like you do.
What?
Like you do.
Yeah, of course, as you would. So, it goes without saying this is a homicide. I mean, he's not going to put himself in the trunk voluntarily.
Correct.
So police took Charlotte down to the station to ask her some questions. They always start with people who are close to the victim and work their way out. She's ruled out as a suspect, immediately. While they're talking to her at the station, back at Maurice's house, CSI is there collecting all the evidence that they can find. DNA swabs. Before Maurice had been placed in the trunk, the killer put like a plastic sheet down and put him on top of that. What a nice guy trying to,
right?
Forget that he killed him. Yeah. So they collected that plastic sheet. He had duct tape on him. They took the duct tape roll, just everything they could think of. And some other officers were canvassing the area to talk to neighbors and see if they heard anything or saw anything. So there's an apartment complex right nearby, and the manager there was like, I don't know anything for sure, but I have this couple, it was a man and his girlfriend, I have this couple of tenants that they left just a couple of days ago and skipped out on their lease. So they're very suspicious to me. And then the detective or the police officers are like, yeah, that's, we need to talk to him or whatever. So they got the names of the two, the man and the woman. The man had a prior conviction for attempted murder.
Wow.
His girlfriend had financial fraud charges against her.
There's somebody for everybody.
These are two stellar members of the community.
100%.
So to the police, Maurice's murder looked like it could be a robbery gone bad, possibly. So these two people are suspects right off the bat. Bay St. Louis residents heard about the murder. It spread through the small town quickly. People were shocked and upset. Stuff like this never happens in their town. Don't they say that on all the shows?
I mean, they were featured in Budget Travel.
I know, right? Jeez. 5 stars. So around the time of the homicide, Maurice's bank records showed that his credit and debit cards had been used. Police also found out that someone had called the bank several times before the card transactions were made to up the limits on the amount that could be withdrawn.
That is bold.
I mean, it's 2012. Like, I can't even, are you kidding me? I can't even sign on to my bank account without having like a drop of my blood and my firstborn child's, date of birth.
Yeah, they do the facial recognition and everything. And that doesn't work if you're not at the right angle and right light.
How are you calling and just upping a limit? Like what? I don't know. You have to have some kind of password or something. Like, I don't know. Anyway, that just seemed really strange to me that someone could call and just raise the limits. So March 9th, so this is 6 days after they discovered the body, the lead detective got the bank's camera footage from the ATM to see who's making these withdrawals. And it was time-stamped a few hours after police found Maurice's body. So this person was still, he's probably been in the trunk for 2 days, right? Mm-hmm. This person's still just like willy-nilly going around using his cards and shit.
Feeling comfy with it.
Yes. So on the camera footage, they saw the vehicle and it was a silver Honda Accord. Not hard to forget that, but keep it in mind because we will talk about that car again later. In the video, there's only one person in the car, and from the angle, they could not see the license plate. So they have a little something, but not a whole lot. The lead detective on this case was convinced that the couple that I told you about was behind all of it. So he got arrest warrants for both the man and his girlfriend. The warrants were put in NCIC, which I had to look up.
It's a National Criminal Database.
Yep, National Crime Information Center.
It is a pain to enter stuff in because I
have experience.
I do.
You were 911 operator.
I was a dispatcher for a police station for a town here.
Yeah,
in the area.
You've heard some shit.
I have. Yeah.
We need to do a Patreon episode where you can talk about that.
Absolutely.
Okay. So they put the info in NCIC. They released statements to the media, all the things. And police departments all along the Gulf Coast were notified. Sure enough, less than a week later, drum roll please, Louisiana picked them up.
I bet I read a bolo for them because I was working for the police at the time.
Ah! Yes, you probably did. They picked him up, and the authorities from Mississippi headed over to the Bayou State to question the couple. They asked about the couple abruptly leaving their apartment and their lease, and they were like, yeah, we did break our lease and leave, but we've been planning to go back home for a long time.
Planning to break that lease for a long time.
We signed it knowing we weren't going to. So their home is Louisiana, and that's That's what they're referring to. The car the couple was found in was not a silver Honda Accord. They took DNA from the couple. Nothing matched the crime scene.
There's just some people that made some poor choices in the past and also do not rent to them.
Correct. So, and they were questioned extensively. Like they, so you've probably noticed I've been calling them the couple because they're not the ones who did it. We didn't want to put their name out there, and even though had their checkered past, but anyway, so they were cleared, and it was just coincidental that they left Mississippi around the time of Maurice's murder. The investigation went back to square one.
I bet they don't break their lease again, though.
Right? I mean, but with those two, with their backgrounds, with the attempted murder and the financial fraud, that even, to me, that's very compelling because
it's definitely
obviously
red flag.
what we have for Maurice is a murder and financial fraud.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see where they would go down that path aggressively toward them, but they were cleared. And then 2 weeks after the murder, the detective who was in charge of everything was fired. I guess it's because he put all of his eggs in one basket. And
probably so.
Well, they put another detective as the lead detective on the case. And around the time he was appointed, the medical examiner had the autopsy report ready. So Maurice had a broken neck, several broken ribs, contusions to his head, and the primary cause of death was asphyxiation. Yeah, and the coroner did confirm, or the medical examiner did confirm that he had died like 48 hours before they found him. But, my gosh, I feel like he had to have been tortured or something because if you're mainly dying of asphyxiation, I guess you could get your neck broken during
after. I mean, it could have been post-mortem when they moved the body into the truck. I hope it was.
That's what I'm saying. Like, was he tortured and they've like broke all these bones and shit and broke his neck and he was still alive and he had to go through being strangled? I don't know. It just, I always say on the show, don't mess with kids or old people. They're vulnerable. Like,
I don't like old people.
Well, I'm not good.
I don't trust them.
I'm not good with old people, but I'm telling you, criminals, they need to get on an even playing field, I think.
Yeah.
Don't mess with kids and old people if you're a criminal.
Unless you're an old criminal.
Yeah. If you're an old criminal, don't mess with kids because that makes it even creepier.
Oh.
Okay, so the new lead detective started from the beginning. He went back to the apartment complex. Didn't talk to the manager this time. Talked to some of the tenants. People said they remember like a commotion at Maurice's house during the days leading up to his body being discovered. That statement right there leads me to believe he was being tortured too in some kind of way because if you're making enough noise for the neighbors to hear, I don't know. So, I don't know. It was just, I don't like it. So next the police talked to Maurice's friend Charlotte again. She remembered a new detail.
Did she know?
That just when I first found that out, I was like, sus, she did it. No. But no, here's the detail. The day she went there looking for Maurice, while she was waiting for the police to arrive, a FedEx delivery truck came by. The FedEx to Maurice's house. The FedEx guy rang the doorbell, knocked on the door, no response. He did not leave the package. I guess it was one you had to sign for. And this is what Charlotte remembered, and she told the police. And the police got a subpoena for FedEx to find what was in the package, find out what was in the package being delivered. Inside the package was a very rare coin worth $15,000.
Goodness.
Yeah.
What are you doing, Maurice?
The order had been placed to be overnighted. Okay, they found his body this day, so we know he's been dead for 2 days. So who placed the order?
See, and I've been wondering who made the oatmeal.
Well, I think, okay, I'll get to that part, yeah. But
because that's where my stoned ass went, was who made the oatmeal.
Oatmeal sounds really good right now. But you know what? I figured the guy was from the north because what self-respecting Southerner would be eating oatmeal over grits? You're not from the South.
That's
I
fair.
love grits.
I enjoy grits.
I love grits.
I enjoy grits, but there are some days where I like some oatmeal.
Oatmeal,
too.
just a heftier cereal.
It's like a hug.
Oh yeah, okay. So the order was placed to be delivered overnight. This tells the police that the killer is the one who placed the order for the coin. The person who ordered the coin also called several times about when it was going to come. Like, bro, you had it sent overnight. Like, how many times can you call before some shit gets to you in 12 hours? I don't understand. So he was anxious to get this package. It was assumed that Charlotte scared the killer off when she went to Maurice's and banged on the door. So he left his oatmeal, obviously. And it's a great theory, all the things they're assuming, but they don't have any.
Is this killer also 83 years old and like eating oatmeal for breakfast and ordering coins and bothering people about stuff? Like, when is it coming?
That's awesome. Yeah, no. I can say he is not 83 years old. So,
because that would have been awesome.
A scuffle between the old guys. The cops are like, this is our theory, good theory, but they have no proof. They don't know who this guy is because he used Maurice's credit card to order the coin. He ordered it from Maurice's house. So
called from Maurice's phone.
Yeah, so it's not, I mean, all of that adds together. Yeah, guys, good theory, but now we got to find evidence to back it up.
Ate Maurice's oatmeal.
Yeah. Okay. Any tip or lead that came in, they followed up on it. Time went on. The case went cold. They had no idea who the suspect was. Now, when I say cold, which is the way they refer to this case at this point, to me, that sounds like years.
Yeah.
It was 6 weeks. And the police released Maurice's home to the next of kin. They're like, finally, like, we don't have anything else. So Maurice's nephew, do you remember his name?
Wally?
Wally Colly.
Oh, Wally Colly.
Yeah, Wally and his wife went to Maurice's place to start cleaning it up, as you do. They went room by room. It was kind of messy. They noticed that a coin collection was missing. So Maurice did have some type of interest in coins, although he wasn't the one that ordered the $15,000 one. Several other pieces that Maurice had collected were missing. Wally's wife, yay for Wally's wife, and I don't have her name, noticed something on the living room floor.
Molly. Let's call her Molly.
Okay. Wally and Molly noticed something. You are dubbed Molly. Okay. Kmart bag on the living room floor. In it, first aid tape, gloves, cleaning supplies, and a wig.
All right.
To go robbery.
Way to go, Molly.
She found it. Also,
how did the detectives not? Like, maybe that guy kind of deserved to lose his job.
Yeah. Well, I saw the place was kind of messy. I don't feel like, I mean, if you came into my house and looked on the living room floor and saw a Walmart bag with stuff in it, you would immediately think, I need to go check that out. But his house wasn't dirty. It was cluttered.
I know, but I don't think Maurice has like a costume box at home.
You don't know. He may love Halloween.
It's true. I'm not going to judge. I have a costume box at home,
but yeah, gloves, cleaning supply. I mean, this looks pretty incriminating to, whoever bought the shit. So guess what else was in the bag? The receipt for purchase.
I love dumb criminals.
I know. The date of the receipt was after the date that the medical examiner said Maurice died. So here we go. All right. The new detective goes to Kmart, hoping after all this time they still have the security footage, and they did. The Kmart manager pulled up the footage from the date and time on the receipt, and there was the man who bought the supplies. He was a white male, physically fit. They released the photos
Not 83.
Not 83. And it's funny you say that. I don't know how old he is. I would think maybe 30s, late 30s, early 40s. I don't know for sure. So they took this Kmart picture and put it out on the media. And within 24 hours, 50 to 60 tips were coming in on the tip line, which I think is a lot.
That is.
Especially for a small town.
This guy knows somebody and like probably pissed a lot of people off.
Well, yeah, we'll get to that. So all these people were calling and saying, I know him. His name is Glen Davis. He had a long rap sheet. Burglaries, thefts, escapes. I don't know what that means. I just know escapes. Assuming he was in jail and escaped. I don't know. So a lot of women called the tip line saying they knew Glen Davis in
a biblical sense.
That's exactly what I have typed.
Love that.
Yes. He used the app called Plenty of Fish to meet women. Is that still even a thing? Do you know?
I don't. I do know that I do know of the apps. I've got some single friends. It sounds terrible. So if you're out there listening and you use Plenty of Fish, don't. Because clearly they don't screen well.
Let this story be your warning. Glen was a player, okay? Women said they would go on dates with Glen, but by the end of the date, he would say he didn't have any money and they would end up the woman would have to pay for everything. Why would you even go on a second date with this dude?
Right?
He just went from one woman to the next, literally. Like, he's just throwing his dick at everything. And he was good at manipulating people and getting what he wanted. So over the course of a week, police got over 200 tips called in.
Good Lord, Glen, what are you doing, bud?
He's throwing a D. He's throwing a D everywhere. All right. One woman named Renee called in. She said she had dated Glen around the time of the murder. She gave investigators his phone number, but when they called, the cell phone was turned off. So I think at least he was smart enough to know he could be tracked by his phone. And going back to, you said, how dumb is he for leaving that Kmart bag? When he got spooked by Charlotte, I think he just obviously he left his oatmeal. So why would you think to pick up your Kmart bag?
Well, I mean, now we know why he's eating the oatmeal. He's got a carbo load, man. He's a busy dude.
So the investigators went back to Maurice's family and they're like, hey, do you know anybody named Glen Davis? And Wally Colly was like, as a matter of fact, I do. Old Glen had been hired by Maurice to do some handyman work. Makes sense. He's 83. He ain't trying to pull the weeds in the garden and shit. So Glen apparently broke something at Maurice's house while he was doing this handyman work.
Sounds like Glen. It's pretty on brand for him.
I know. And Glen refused to pay for what he broke.
Again, typical Glen.
Yeah. So Maurice fired him. What else would you do?
Yeah.
All right.
Glen sucks.
Another woman called in named Jody. Okay, stop. She had been with Glen a few hours after Maurice's body was found. So now he has fled the scene. I got to get on my app. I got to find some pussy right now. Jody said that night Glen had a lot more money than usual. They went to a casino in Biloxi for drinks. After that, they went to a sports bar for drinks. So they're locals in this area. So that's why
he's whining her and dining her.
And he got money. He's up in the club doing this. No. Okay. After drinks, I'm assuming they went back to Jody's house at that point. I don't have complete confirmation. But Jody said that Glen asked to borrow her car to run a quick errand. This bro don't even have a car. He don't even have a car. What? Guess what type of car Jody owned?
I bet it's a silver Honda
Accord.
Oh.
Yes. Glen Davis was on the run. He was not borrowing her car for a quick errand.
That's why you don't let him drive your car.
You're going to date a guy who meets you at the bar on foot, I guess? Uber? What? All right.
You know, he can't take you to a second location.
I mean, yeah. What? I don't know. So I'm going to let you tell the listeners what this next word is. Police put out a BOLO.
Yes, be on the lookout.
For Glen Davis. They had his name, the type of car he was driving, and the manhunt was on. Okay. May 2012, 2 months after the murder. Law enforcement was worried that Glen had left the Gulf Coast area, so they enlisted the help of the TV show America's Most Wanted. I used to love watching that show.
I didn't know that show was still on.
Well, this is 2012, so I don't know if it's still on, but I thought the story was great. I mean, the show was great. When they did the story on him, they had a name for him. They called him the Gulf Coast Casanova.
No.
Yes.
Not Glen.
Yes. You know, when he heard that, oh my God, you know, when he heard that, he was like, yeah, bro, I'm the shit. All right. In addition to America's Most Wanted, the Bay St. Louis authorities got the FBI because they were thinking this is going to cross state lines. U.S. Marshals, all the people were involved in the hunt.
Oh, for Glen.
Glen was originally from Michigan. That's why he was eating oatmeal. I'll tell you that right now. Yeah.
Gives you energy. Glen needs it.
If I eat a carb, I go to sleep. Like, that's the last thing I need for energy.
Not Glen.
Glen was from Michigan, and the police were looking in that direction. Mm-hmm. They're like, maybe he's going back home. He still had his cell phone turned off, but the authorities got lucky. He turned his cell phone on one time when he was in Alabama. Don't ask me how they know this, but he used the phone to look at a map from Alabama to Michigan.
Okay.
I don't know how could they know that? I mean, they would have to be accessing that shit real time somehow on his phone. Can they do that?
Maybe. I don't know. Sure.
In 2012. Okay. Anyway.
I mean, not the department I worked for.
Right. Yeah. Y'all didn't have that kind of technology.
Not at all.
Maybe the FBI and the U.S. Marshals have that kind
Probably
of
so.
Okay. So, of course, they think he's heading home, and the Michigan police are put on alert. All right, guys, you got this Gulf Coast Casanova coming your way.
You know, Glen had a dick like down to his knee.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is the only way.
He's a shower and a grower, right? So
they're looking for Glen and his giant dick. Continue.
Yes. Hung like a horse. Back in Mississippi, the police went to talk to Glen's dad, Larry.
Of course.
It should have rhymed with Glenn, and that would have made it funnier. Glenn.
I think Larry's kind of perfect, actually.
Glenn's dad, Ben. No.
It just doesn't work as well.
Okay, so Larry is like, he opens the door, sees the police, and says, something, I'm paraphrasing, something along the lines of, I guess you're here to tell me my son did something he's going to regret for the rest of his life. And they're like,
he knows, Glen.
Can we come in and talk? And Larry was like, yeah, come in. Can we search? Yeah, look, Glenn's room is back there. So when Glen would go visit his dad, he had his own room still. And they go search the room, top to bottom. They found shoes that were consistent with the shoe prints that they found on that plastic sheet from the trunk of the car. Yeah. And when once the crime lab studied them and compared them, they were a match to the shoe prints from the crime scene. So we got the right guy this time. June 12th, 2012.
That's my birthday.
Is it?
It is.
So many June babies. Harold's a June baby.
It's because we're awesome.
Yes. Michigan police get a call from someone who has found, this is so strange, a suspicious bag in their backyard. Maybe it's because I live out in a rural area. Some of the shit that these people must be from the big city or something. Because, like, how do you just get a random? And when I say a bag, I mean like a duffel bag. I don't mean like a Walmart bag.
You don't ever see like random duffel bags and stuff on the side of the road? I see that stuff all the time driving.
No, I see. What puzzles me with that I see on a consistent basis is one shoe. I'm like,
I see those too.
Where the fuck is the other shoe? What happened to how did they not know they lost a shoe? Were they hanging their feet out the window? Like, I have so many questions. So Michigan police get a call, found some suspicious bag in my backyard. Can you come over and look at it? The bag has 2 handguns and a police badge in it. So if this bag belongs to Glen, I bet you he's getting those women with that badge too. Like, the bag also had 3 SD cards from 3 different cell phones. On these cards, I'm picturing the police just having this SD reader in the back of their car. On these cards were pictures of Maurice, pictures of items that were stolen from Maurice.
It's nice that Glenn catalogs everything.
Yes. I got to, make a historical event here. So they also find or see a text that Glenn sent to someone that said, I am on the run from the U.S. Marshals.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Those SD cards also contain the phone number for the phone that they were taken out of. So now they've looked into those, and Glenn owned all 3 of those phones. He had so many women that his memory in one phone couldn't hold all the bitches' phone numbers. All right. So we're getting some evidence stacking up here. Okay. July 20th. So this over a month after the bag was found. We're 4 months after the murder.
We still don't know where Glenn and his giant dick is.
I mean, with a dick that big, you would think it would be obvious to spot him.
Why would they not just make an account and hit him up on Plenty of Fish? Because clearly he is on there a lot.
Mm-hmm. Remember the woman that called the tip line named Renee? She reached back out and told them Glenn had emailed her. So they can obviously get the IP address and pinpoint where he is. Mm-hmm. But he was using a computer at the local library. And of course, by the time authorities got to the library, he was not there. Less than a week later, police found the stolen car, Jody's silver Honda Accord. In the car, again, dude is leaving shit, okay? There were items that Maurice had collected that he had stolen from him in the car. There were pieces of paper with Maurice's handwriting on them in the car. Again, why are you going to steal? You stole and killed somebody, and now you're just leaving the shit in the car. Mm-hmm. You're a piece of shit. August 5th, 2012, a crucial tip came in to Crime Stoppers. Another woman. This woman was scheduled to meet with Glen Davis at a restaurant for a date.
I'm telling you, all they would have had to do was just have some big titty cop on there and be a fake profile. Yeah. This could have been wrapped up weeks ago.
Yep. Oh my God. Everybody's looking for the Gulf Coast Casanova. But is he stupid or just really horny? Like what? All right. He's trying to be a player during running from the fucking authorities. The U.S. Marshals were like, thank you for calling, hon. We got it from here. We're taking it from here. And they were waiting for Glen Davis as he arrived at the restaurant on a bicycle. He arrived.
Yes.
Yes.
The balls.
And he was wearing a wig. He saw the cops. I wrote he tried to run, but I guess he tried to pedal away. And he was about to turn into something like an apartment complex, something that the cops felt like they were going to lose him if he turned in there. And so one of the cops decided that he was going to hit the bike with his police car. And he did. And old Glenn went flying over the handlebars.
How is this not
his
a
dick
movie?
hit him in the head while he was flying over the handlebars. So they finally got Glenn and his dick.
Glenn and his giant dick are finally arrested.
Cuffed him and stuffed him. He was brought back to Mississippi to face the music, I wrote. They're going to play Taylor Swift over and over while he's in the jail.
Good.
He was crying like a baby during the police interview. When they showed him the picture of Maurice's body, that's when he started breaking down. I don't feel sorry for him.
No.
He was probably faking it.
100%.
Little bastard. So all the evidence was assembled. He was charged with murder, grand larceny, and vehicle theft. What's grand larceny? I should have looked that up. I guess stealing a dollar amount of the things that he had.
I would think it's like, stealing over a certain amount, maybe. Okay. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I should have looked that up. All right, he pled not guilty to all the charges. Trial was on, are you ready for this? August 10th, 2015.
What?
3 years to prepare this case. I feel like y'all had everything.
Like, was it just because there was so much evidence it took them that long?
I don't know. They had shoe prints. They had fingerprints. They had DNA evidence. And it goes on and on. Like, I don't know. The jury deliberated for 2 hours, and bam, Glen Davis was found guilty of first-degree murder. He received life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Good for Glen.
He can eat a bag of humongous dicks? Or do we?
His giant dick can eat a bag of humongous dicks.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, for our Mississippi listeners, if y'all have any inside scoop on your prison system, send me an email because I'd like to know what is Glen exactly sitting in right now. Like, here we have our Angola and we know about Angola and, what kind of a situation you're in if you're in that jail. So tell me how your prisons are over there in Mississippi. I'd like to know.
I just want to make sure that Glen and his giant dick are doing well.
I mean, I could say a whole lot of things about dicks and prison, but I'm just going to leave it there. So, all right. So my sources, OJP.gov, that's the Office of Justice Programs, Wikipedia, coastalmississippi.com, and I watched on Peacock, Sins of the South. The title of the episode was Gulf Coast, Mississippi.
I'm going to go home and watch that.
They actually have several of those. If you Sins of the South, they're very good stories. However, the Southern woman who interjects periodically, the narrator, she's trying a little too hard to be Southern, I think, because we all don't sound like we just walked out of Terra.
There's a really great new show on well, it's not new, but it's AMC's Mayfair Witches, and I love how there's the New Orleans accent and then there's like the Hollywood New Orleans accent where everyone sounds like Foghorn Leghorn, and nobody sounds like that. And
the New Orleans accent I call it yat, like where you at.
It's New York but slower.
Exactly. It's definitely not Southern.
It is not.
No,
it is not. So, and nobody says Nolans. Please, if you are not from here and you come down here, please don't say that. Nobody says that.
Yeah, no one says Nolans with a W. No. We say New Orleans. We don't say New Orleans either.
No, it's New Orleans.
Because they picture people on TV from the South like, oh, I'm from New Orleans.
No.
That's not how we do things. Okay, so we're going to switch gears. That was a horrible story about Maurice, but I love his nephew's name, Wally Colly. And I am so happy that Glen got caught because he's a mega asshole with a big dick.
Murdered and broke so many hearts.
Yes. Can you believe all the women that called in? Okay, I'm going to tell you a law and ask you if it's true or false.
Okay. That's perfect. This is, and you didn't even remember I was a dispatcher.
No, but these are all over the world. So you may not know some of these.
All right. Bring it.
Denmark. True or false? Beyonce would have been unable to name her daughter Blue Ivy. True or false?
True.
Yes. In Denmark, there are official naming rules. You must get permission from the government if you are opting for a name outside of these 7,000 already approved names.
I do remember reading that somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let me see if I can pronounce this. This is in Italy. Eraclea, Italy. True or false? It is illegal to build sandcastles.
I believe it just because things are weird there.
Okay. It is true. It's illegal to build sandcastles. And
I would love to know the reason why, because I feel like there's just probably some 100-year-old family issue going on over a sandcastle.
No, I feel like there's probably something about you're eroding the natural coastline or something stupid like that. Maybe that's not stupid. Sorry if I offended anyone. So in Eraclea, which is near Venice, it's a €250 fine if you build a sandcastle on the beach. All right, Ohio.
Yeah.
It is illegal to get a fish drunk.
I'm going to go with true on that.
That is false.
Really?
It's
fine?
Yep. Get a little eyedropper with whiskey. Although this law often widely cited as one of the most ridiculous laws in the world, there are no Ohio laws which states it's illegal to get a fish drunk. It is likely a myth that came from a law relating to a rule on silo runoff, which can include alcohol, and stream pollution. So that rule doesn't even exist anymore.
It should.
But it's not a law.
You should pollute the streams
Okay,
with alcohol.
Arizona.
Bring it.
There is a possible 25 years in prison for cutting down a cactus.
I'll go ahead and believe that.
That is true. This law stands because the hard word to say cactus, prevalent in Arizona, takes an incredibly long time to grow and have lifespans estimated to be 150 to 200 years. I heard someone talking about, I can't remember who it was. It's going to come to me, but this sounded so ridiculous to me. They have jumping cactus. Or cacti? Did you know this?
I did.
So this person told, I remember who it was. It was we went on vacation and I went to the smoking area by the hotel and there was a lady there who.
Were they smoking like what I smoke?
No, she had a pack of cigarettes.
Okay.
So I'm assuming she wasn't, hiding a weed, a doobie in there or whatever, any weed. She talked and talked and talked and like when she took a breath, you couldn't even get a word in. And you're getting up to walk away saying, have a nice day. And she's still talking to you. Your hand's on the door to go back in the hotel. She's still talking to you. And you're just like, I want to
keep doing the Midwestern goodbye.
She said that when she went to Arizona to visit somebody when she was little, that she walked past a jumping cactus. And I was like, what is that? And she goes, yeah, the needles shoot out at you, the cactus
Okay,
needles.
I don't know about that then.
So she was like, I was like 20 feet away. I was way away from it and they shot out. I was like, I wouldn't own a plant like that. Well, they're a protected species of plant in Arizona. I was like, okay, bye.
I believe it just because there's a lot of weird stuff out there. But I mean, you've seen my feed. It's
what?
My search, like, what is it? Not amalgam.
Oh, algorithm.
Yeah, my algorithm is bananas, though. Like, I've seen videos of, like, trees walking and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I believe it, sure.
Tomorrow you're watching videos of fish getting drunk.
Yeah, I believe it, sure. Why not?
All right, I have a couple more. In Malaysia, chewing gum is banned.
That is true.
That is not true.
No, Singapore it is.
Yes, it was a trick question.
Singapore.
Chewing gum is banned in Singapore, not Malaysia. It was made a law in 1992 because officials were concerned that it would make the city look dirty with gum marks on the street. You went, Harold. Could you even buy gum there?
No, you can't. My buddy used to live in Singapore, and he was telling me about that.
He's shaking his head no. Can't even buy gum there.
Nope. And you can't litter. You have to, like, put your stuff in a pocket.
They will cane you.
Yeah.
Do they even allow smoking?
Yes, they do.
But you better not be throwing your butt.
Yeah, you got to hang on to that.
All right. In England, it is illegal to handle salmon in a suspicious manner. True or false?
It should be true if it isn't. What are you do? Why are you doing anything to a salmon in a suspicious manner? Or are you just handling fish like that?
I would like for someone to define suspicious manner. Anyway, it's true. The Salmon Act of 1986 states...
Again, what happened that created the need for this?
It states that it is indeed illegal to hold a salmon under suspicious circumstances. Someone went to rob a bank.
It's not my salmon.
They don't let people have guns over there. So they went to rob a bank and they used a salmon. And they were just slapping the teller in the face with the salmon. I don't know. Last one. In Greece, it is illegal to wear high heels when touring ancient monuments.
I'll believe it.
It's true. The ban was implemented as sharp-soled shoes were adding to the wear and tear of the national treasure.
That would make sense.
Yes.
I have one for you.
Okay, tell me. Is it a true or false?
Well, it is true, but it's just a fun law for Louisiana. It's the only thing I retained from working in law enforcement. Bear wrestling. Don't do it. It's illegal here.
Did y'all have a call out that someone was wrestling?
No, I was like reading through laws and that one just struck out. And again, it was like, what happened that caused this law? But yeah, bear wrestling in Louisiana. Don't do it.
Don't want to do that anyway. I feel like here in the south part of the state, we don't have a lot of bears, would you say? We're not, we do?
Yeah, there's a fair amount of bears.
Okay.
And no offense to this lovely state, but the people here are the kind that I could see after cracking open a couple cold ones and be like, yeah, it's,
you know what?
Wrestle it.
Hey, Bob, hold my beer.
Yeah, watch this. Exactly.
Hold my beer, Bob.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you for doing this with me.
This was so much fun. I'm happy to be back.
We got to do it again.
I would love to.
And Harold, thank you for camera switching. I know it's your favorite thing
You're
to
the
do.
best, Harold. 2 thumbs up, buddy.
Y'all go to Patreon if you want to help support the show. Patreon/grits. We would love to have you there. I have had a couple of people make comments on YouTube this week that they love the show. So please, thank you for commenting because, you know, not many people do. Please comment.
Hit that like, subscribe, and share while you're at it.
Yeah, we definitely need y'all to subscribe. We're trying to hit 1,000. We're getting close. We're in the 800s.
I think after 10,000 starts, you can start monetizing.
You can after 1.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
so we're so close.
Yes, we're so close. So also, I have someone who is now updating the website on a monthly basis for me. Like, yeah, it's going to be more active. But I know y'all just went through the whole voting process with me. We don't know the results of the final voting yet. But I've been nominated for another award. It's the Women in Podcasting Award. And I believe voting goes through October. And I'm going to get that up on the website so that you can follow directions there to go vote. And we're in the comedy category for the Women in Podcasting Award. Believe it or not, they don't have a true crime category.
Really?
Yes. Yep. So we're funny. We're funny.
Yes, women are funny.
Yeah, no. We are also. Like just
always.
me and you, we're funny. Yeah.
I like to think.
Yeah, you're funny. You're very funny.
My husband does not agree with you.
He's over it. How long have y'all been married?
We've been together 15 years, and we will be married 9 years this year, just December.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, all our stuff's together, so I think we're just kind of like at that point where I just really don't want to sift through it. So
it's cheaper to keep her.
100%.
That was not Glen's motto.
No,
it's cheaper to fuck her and throw her off to the side
and have her buy you dinner first.
Yeah.
See, I'm telling you, dude, it's got to be down to his knees. He rolled up on a bike with confidence.
If his dick was that big, though, I don't think he could ride a bike. Like, I think it would interfere with the seating and the pedaling. I'm not a dude, though, so I don't.
Yeah, I wouldn't know the mechanics on it.
Maybe he tucks that shit. I don't know.
But it takes balls to roll up on a date on a bike.
Yeah, so many balls. 20 or 30 balls. All right, guys, we've had enough fun for the day. We appreciate y'all sharing your time with us. Please tell your friends about the show. Please go on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, all of the things. All of the things. We're on social media, and like us and share us and subscribe to us. And am I forgetting anything?
No.
Okay. We love y'all. Tell your mom and him to listen. We're going to let Zydeco Mike take us out.